Hi, I'm Kera Weiserbs. Today I'm demonstrating the slip tube stitch, a stockinette-based stitch that I designed. This moderately elastic rib stitch has a distinct pattern on each side of the fabric. On the front side, the stitches alternate between raised columns of stockinette and recessed exposed purl stitches. The back side of the fabric is stockinette, which adds rigidity to the fabric. This stitch is knit by adding elongated slip stitches on even-numbered pegs, which exposes the purl stitches in the middle of the fabric, followed by a row of stockinette. Before adding the elongated slip stitches, move loops on the back rake to the top of each peg. This will help prevent stretching the elongated stitches. Now add the elongated slip stitches from even-numbered pegs on the front rake to the opposite peg on the back rake. To form even stitches, push the yarn between the rakes and pull on your yarn. Now you're ready to add a row of stockinette. To weave the stockinette pattern, wrap the yarn around every catty-corner peg until you come to the last peg in your knitting sequence. Bring your yarn straight across to the opposite rake and begin your return wrap. The return wrap is identical to the forward wrap, except now pegs are wrapped in the opposite direction. Now we'll add a row of stockinette. Knit off loop pairs on the front rake. On the back rake, knit off all bottom loops over the top loop. To form even stitches, push the yarn down between the rakes and pull on your yarn. To add another row of the slip tube stitch, repeat the process by adding elongated slip stitches on even-numbered pegs and then weaving a row of stockinette and knitting off all pegs with 2 or more loops. When I began designing stitches for double rake looms, I had trouble recording the steps, so I developed a knitting chart system for double rake looms that could represent stitches on both rakes. This is the knitting chart for the slip tube stitch. It has 3 sections: a prep section that indicates how to cast on, a repeat section that specifies the number of rows that form a unit pattern, and an end section that is added before casting off. Peg numbers are on the bottom, and knitting instructions for each section are on the right. Weaving instructions that apply to both rakes have numbers, and weaving instructions that are only applied to one rake are specified by a number followed by FR for front rake or BR for back rake. For example, 1FR refers to row 1 on the front rake. The first 2 rows of the prep section apply to both rakes. The open circles, such as in row 1, symbolize weaving the yarn around the pegs. The second row has closed circles, which symbolizes that the yarn is woven around the pegs and bottom loops are knit off over the top loop. The repeat section for this stitch adds 1 row of stitches. You'll notice that the first row of the repeat section has an FR without a number in front of it. This row does not have a number in front of it because it is not preceded by a looping pattern in the repeat section. Because of this, the first application of this row, which adds elongated slip stitches, modifies the second row of the prep section, and thereafter modifies the stockinette stitch in the repeat section. The elongated slip stitches, which move a loop from the front rake to the opposite peg on the back rake, are symbolized by an up arrow. The next row has rake-specific instructions. The closed circles indicate that you need to weave the yarn around the pegs and knit off bottom loops over the top loop. However, even-numbered loops on the front rake only have 1 loop. Therefore, they cannot be knit off, which is why there's open circles on the even-numbered pegs on the front rake. To add additional slip tube stitches, repeat this section. To end the stitch, add a row of stockinette and knit off bottom loops over the top loop. Now you're ready to cast off.